Everyone, get your freaking headphones on. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for, friends? What's up, everybody? Andrew Wall here, host and executive producer at Illuvium, and I'm so excited to do this fabled audio episode. Grant's been talking about, he's like, we got to get this guy Nico, man. This guy's a freak on sound. What does he call the team? That people that are amazing, they're psycho, they go psycho, I think he says. Well, this is one of the psychos. Head of Sound Nico is on this audio-only episode today. Nico, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Andrew, doing good. Good to be here, thanks.
Awesome. Well, let's go over what we're gonna cover in this episode. Everybody put your headphones on, stereo, high definition, amazing sound effects, you name it. Check this out. Here's what we got for you, everybody. Let me turn that soundtrack music down just a little bit. In this episode, it's headphones on mode. Turn them on, everybody. Put them on, put in your AirPods. If you have good ones, this is the time to use the good ones. This crazy man right here is the guy joining us. In Illuvium Showcase 21, we're going behind the scenes. We're highlighting some work from the team and doing some fun bonus leaks. And Nico is your guy you're talking to today. It was shameful to see that your Twitter account only has 232 followers at Nico Sonic Shifts. Everybody go follow right now. We need to boost this number up to 300. Shameful. All of the sound this man's been generating for everybody. This man needs 300 followers to boost his power, of course. And it goes without saying that nothing we're talking about on this episode is financial advice, relationship advice, dating advice, tax advice, legal advice, no kind of advice. Just fun, really interesting behind-the-scenes content on how audio and music is being created for the Illuvium Universe. Let's go. Are you ready to do the first leak?
Yeah, let's go. Maybe just before starting, I just want to clarify something. Like, I see sometimes people saying, like, how does Nico create these amazing sounds? And the answer is, the quick answer is, like, you have to surround yourself with amazing talents, because it's not me. Like, I do sounds, I do make sounds, but it's a team effort. But I cannot take the credit alone. It would be unfair. And that's what we are going to see today.
All right, fantastic. Great team effort, but you're the leader of the team. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore, great leaders give the credit to their team and are grateful for when you have fantastic people working with you. Let's go over something that I think was a piece of your work that I posted as a teaser for this episode on Twitter. I'm in love with these hollows, just the way they look, but how about the way they sound? Let's take a look at this leak that you shared with us. So cool. So help us understand with these did you work on this one individually, or did other folks work on the audio for this?
No, this one is myself 100%. Also, the music background I also created. Yeah,
that's really cool. So help me understand. So when this NFT rotates, or this hollow, or whatever it may end up being, rotates from left to right, there's this spatial aspect with the atmospherics as it rotates. How do you do that? What's the audio magic to make this feel spatially relevant as it comes closer and moves away?
That's actually not the most difficult part. It's just like, you can, you just follow the motion of the picture. Like a lot of our work is working on visual assets, so we have to just adapt our sounds. But here, like, just the motion is just like volume and filters. And I think it's Dimitri who created this crazy movement, and I thought that was interesting, and I thought that the sound had to follow this. So but there's also some echo, and I also wanted to have like a music that tries to fit this thing.
Got it. That's really cool. Yeah, obviously Dimitri helps us with these animations, and they eat up about 17% of the total power of Earth to render them. I was mistaken earlier. I'm sorry. I thought that was a picture of you recording wind, but it was of your colleague.
No, it was Thibaut, yeah.
Thibaut. Look at this, man. Look, I mean, what kind of leader are you putting your team in harm's way like this as you record?
Okay.
Is he literally trying to capture wind sound effects for the game? Help us understand what's going on in this clip.
So yeah, so these wind sounds end up in the game. They end up in Crimson Waste because, you know, there's Crimson Waste is like a dangerous region with a big storm, sandstorm. These are sounds that Thibaut recorded before the project, but he just kept some videos, and I thought it was since we use them in the game, I thought like we would show this 100%. And
the real life effort that's required. So we can't just digitally generate everything. As a sound artist and as an audio engineer, I think people think you're just sitting on the computer all day, but there is some practical capture that happens in real life that translates into the digital experience that we all have.
So like more and more as the tool develops, you can just sit on your computer and use softwares to create material, to create sounds, but you're always limited. If you want some rich, detailed sounds, if you want to create sounds, you have to use sounds from nature. And like one good example is the voices work that we do for the Illuvials.
Like this weird video that you would be freaked out by if you.
Yeah.
Now, we've shown this on the show before. The community's seen this. Help us understand the context for people that don't understand what the heck is going on here.
All right. So we try to go really, really high level on our voice designs. To design the voice of a creature, because this Tiktaalik, like, it doesn't exist in the nature. So you cannot capture with a microphone, you know, it doesn't exist. So we blend our own voice. So it's like a mix of human voice, then props like Thibaut does, and then like recordings of real animals. For this one, I don't think Thibaut used animals. It's mainly his own voice with props like this. But that would be the main elements here.
I saw comments just a moment ago, and I got to pull you up full screen here. They're saying I need to step up my microphone game with your microphone here. What is that Death Star or Epcot ball on the end there? Like, are you worried about a hurricane or a tornado happening in your home studio?
No. So this is a windshield. It's meant to be used outside to prevent wind to interfere with recordings. But because these microphones are so sensitive, if I speak very near, like, it's good for me to keep this. Yeah, it looks like a Death Star.
There you go. Okay, I just wanted to. People are telling me to step up my microphone game. I wanted to address that because normally I'm not the person that people are commenting on. Looks like you've stepped it up though with that giant windscreen. I love it. Okay, moving on to the next one. So thank you for sharing that insight about illuvial voices. So it's a combination of human and practical effects, obviously, and digital enhancements.
Yeah. What I can add, maybe. Sorry to interrupt. Like,
no, go ahead. It's your show.
The microphone Thibaut is using, it's ultrasonic microphone. It's like expensive microphones that allows you to record things that you can't hear, things that the human here cannot hear. Like, it is high frequencies, so it's like all of these high sounds up to a certain point, sounds disappear. But when you talk, like, the human voice has a lot of ultrasonic frequencies. And when Thibaut recorded these crazy sounds for Tiktaalik, he just recorded the sound in a super high quality format that contains these high frequencies. And then when you pitch down the sound, you're able to bring back all these frequencies that you cannot hear, and you can make like advanced voice designs. That's one of the idea.
Wow. So it's
we cannot see
capturing
the
audio
microphone.
that is outside of what we can normally hear in an effort to get more content to use, essentially, more signal to use when developing the final audio asset.
Yeah, like more sounds that are not common. If you want to create creature designs, you have to, if you just use normal voices or just normal sounds, it might end up sounding not really original. But I mean, that's one tool that we use to create our voices. Yeah.
Like a dog whistle, sort of. Sure. Yeah. And to help people understand the whole, it's outside of the auditory frequencies. Interesting.
Yeah.
Tebow's up to it again, though, with this Wings and Beatles clip. Is this like is that a speaker?
Yeah, that's a guitar amp, I believe, or a bass amp.
Interesting. Okay, so he's putting these pieces of rice, I guess, or couscous, or what is that, on top of a speaker?
Yeah, it's rice, definitely.
Rice, okay. Interesting. So taking the rice bouncing off the speaker as a source sound, it sort of brings that rattle, bassy rattle sound to this beetle.
Yeah, it's like same stuff. You do creatures. If you take recordings of birds flapping wings, you might not end up with something that really stands out. Like this is a huge beetle flying, it cannot sound like common. It has to be original, and that was one way he found, which I think is really creative and clever.
It is really, I mean, it sounds uncommon when you turn up the volume on it. The bass under there, it feels unnatural and large.
Yeah, that's not only this sound, it's a mix of many sounds. It's also like, after recording, you process the sounds, you just change them even more, so you just get even more far from the original source. You want to create something that doesn't exist, basically.
Awesome. I mean, that's Illuvium's all about that, right? Create the unexpected, take people to a new, fantastical place. And we need to do that through the audio experience as well.
Yeah.
Here's some work from Joe. I don't have any context on this. What is going on here?
So this is like a harvestable plant. Oh, let's listen to the video. It's just a breakdown.
Some like weird ASMR feel here.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it is.
That is so cool, especially this part. Like he took like a huge monster voice, and this is really amazing. You play the game, you explore the overworld, and there's this little egg. And it's also very cool because as you move, the egg is watching you. It turns, and there's these sounds playing at the same time, and it's just incredibly good.
It is crazy good.
Joe is a freak. Like, I will use Grant's word. He's amazing. Tebow
He's going psycho, Grant says on the show. Yeah, this is so cool. And you know what's so unnatural? Just about the few unnatural and unexpected, I suppose, about the sounds we've been playing so far is the deep bass combined with the really clear and articulated high end at the same time for these kind of natural sort of looking creatures. That doesn't happen in real life, right? You don't get that full range or that split range of bass plus treble necessarily in nature. And so that really catches you off guard. It makes it feel sci-fi. It makes it feel fantasy.
Yeah, I think it makes it pleasant to hear. That's the most important part. When you want to create good sound effects, if you want to stay too natural, then because like in real life you experience sounds that are not as satisfying as this. even though it happens. But you have all of the other senses, you know, you can touch, you can smell. When you play a video game, you just have visuals and audio. So that's one way to fill up these missing senses, I would say, like
maybe smell or sense of balance and these other things that are missing in this experience.
Yeah, it's the same for movies, basically. Like, you would do a little bit more than what you can hear in real life to compensate. Exactly, that's the word. You want to compensate.
You want to stimulate and immerse the viewer or the gamer, and you only have two ways to do it: audio and video. So you need to bring it on the video to a whole nother level and bring it on the audio to a whole nother level.
Exactly.
Maybe one day, you know, when VR headsets or we have haptic suits, extremely exaggerated sounds and visuals might be overwhelming in that scenario, but we're not there today. So we need to exaggerate the audio to compensate. That's really fascinating. I've never thought about it like that. We want to talk about exaggerated audio. We have shown this one before in the past, but maybe you can give context. Let me just crank it on the audio here and let everybody listen to this one. This is so amazing. So freaky sounding. Files.
He's a crazy guy.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, just the process is incredible. What other insights do you want to share with us in terms of the creation of this? What is it's just a straight up showstopper, jaw dropper of a sound effect.
So what's crazy is I think he simplified the process to make the video not overwhelming, you know. What he did, the processes he used and the effects and stuff like this, it was even more. Like, it's just to tell you, that's me recording, by the way. It's me recording sources.
This is you recording right here?
This is me tearing
okay, so that's why in the project it said something like Nico's files or something like that up there in the file names. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And I think, like, ultimately, Joe he's the ultimate madman in the team. Like, you know, like, up to a certain point, the sound team we were like a good size. We were like 3 sound designers, 1 music composer, 1 tech artist for sound. And we weren't late or anything, but like the recruiter, Ben, came to me and he's like, hey, Nico, there's a dubstep producer, a guy called Joe. He wants to join the team. And I'm like, yeah, but there's not a lot of space at the moment. The team is quite full. But then, okay, just send me his work. And I just heard that he was like, he's like a famous dubstep producer in the UK. He like so he creates sounds during the week for Illuvium, and during the weekend he goes DJs in, I don't know, in France. He travels everywhere, um, and then so I thought that he could go really deep into effects creation, like deep processing. Like we would still sound design sounds, he would still create sound, but he could spend more time on like deep processing of the sounds and stuff like this, because when I heard his music, it was like pretty advanced, like some dubstep, drum and bass, like very, very
Which
technical.
is an extreme amount of editing, an extreme amount of audio engineering prowess is required to even touch that genre.
Yes, yeah. I think it's a genre that is close to sound design, actually. So when I heard his music, I was like, that's so good, you know, we need to try. And then we did a test for 2 weeks. And the funny thing is, like, I was still a little bit unsure, like, will we have enough stuff to do for him or stuff like this? And I was like, yeah. And he just told me, like, can you give me an answer soon? Because I have the opportunity to create the music score for Atomic Heart. And I was like, okay, you know. And so this guy has amazing opportunities to compose the music for AAA games. And I was like, why do you even want to create sounds for us, you know? Like, I just got confused. And he said, like, yeah, I want to change, I want to do sound design. So then he got into the team, and it makes me say that having Joe on the team really marked a new step, because when we started Illuvium, if you remember, like, the original energy was to create sounds very fast, like create assets, make a game quickly, you know. And as the game developed, we changed a little bit. Like, now we take more time to do things, you know. So that's a perfect time for us to not slow down, but take more time to create sources, take more time to create our own sounds. Because an easy way to do sounds is just to reuse sounds, you know, like you can buy sound libraries and just assemble things.
We don't want people to have seen Illuvium's look and to have heard Illuvium's sound before, though. We want it to be a first-time experience. So you have to craft it from scratch.
That's the triple way of doing things. We could not do that at the beginning because we were too rushed. But now we have more time. And also, you look at the size of the sound team, it's pretty big, you know. It's even bigger than the animation team. And I don't think any video game studio has this. Like, it's like you usually want to have more animators than sound designers, for example. But yeah, and it's also like some of the struggles I went through, like, okay, because we are dependent from animations. So if we don't have enough animations, then we don't have we don't have enough stuff to do. And then I had this this moment where, like, what should I do? And the answer is just like, just go full crazy. Like, we just create more sources. We go like full just AAA.
Go full blown.
Yeah, full madness. And Joe is a really cool example. I think like everyone on the team is going like super crazy. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's show some more of your work then. Thank you for sharing all of that insight. So that's the real behind the scenes there. You're not going to hear that at other game studios and what have you, telling you how things actually are. We've got some magic design turtle. What's going on here?
So this is like auto battle. It's not overworld like we saw previously. This is like some tonal creation, some tonal signature creation, as I would call this, because we have 150 Illuvials. There's a big challenge. is that the Illuvials might end up sounding the same. It's like sound effects, but also voices. So we had to find a way to create a process where we can, create really specific stuff, like original stuff for our Illuvials, so they sound different. So they have their own personality, basically. And that's one way. There's many ways. This is like highly inspired of League of Legends process. They use this. It's their process. So it's like magic sounds, and I just played with some synth and combined them. Sorry. Yeah, in order to create sound effects, like something that is like really specific to Turtle.
I love your justification that's here in the text too. So like the attack is somewhat harmful, so you need dark elements. It's somewhat healing, you need the ethereal elements to create something entirely new. Chad is saying smart stuff such as, I like turtles. Well done, everybody. This man's like spilling his heart about his art, and you're like, I like turtle.
Yeah, this one is very musical. It fit the visual, the VFX, like very magic. So
yeah. The turtles, obviously they have the wow, this is so cool to see the process. Obviously it has the magical like green vine tendrils and VFX coming off of it.
Yeah, so that's only one part of the sound. Like we call it like tonal magic signature. Like it's like one part of the magic sounds that has this strong personality.
Interesting.
And then you just blend everything with this tool.
Wow, that's wild. So you're dragging your mouse left and right to blend between all those sounds in real time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just record this. That's a tool for shaping sounds.
Got it. I see. So you're just kind of testing it to see if you can find just the right implementation.
Exactly, yeah.
Got it.
That was the tonal element of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. I have such a deeper appreciation for that sound now. Knowing how all of the different pieces come together, that's so incredible. All right, we've got some work here from Vince with some custom modulation tools. Help us understand what this is.
So, yeah, this is also completely crazy. Vince is also like, he's the perfect guy because he's an amazing sound designer, but he also has a lot of technical knowledge, and he is able to, for example, code and develop new softwares.
So he developed new software for you guys, or this is or stuff he's used and then it's being utilized for Illuvium?
I would say new tools, not new softwares,
tools.
because he doesn't do everything from scratch, but he uses stuff and then just this one, the big one is something he created. So what you can hear like is he plays a white noise, which is just noise, and then he applies several effects to it. There's reverb, there's modulators and stuff like this. And this crazy tool he created allows him to control parameters in a random way. It just modulates. You can see the knobs moving, right?
Oh yeah.
So
by controlling the tool, it's moving all of these knobs so he doesn't have to manually move each one. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's complex, but I think because it looks cool and it sounds cool. Like you start from pure noise and you end up with some like crazy anime sound effects. Um, but yeah, like it allows you to modulate parameters for other effects in a very clever way, if I can summarize like this.
Very cool. It's really interesting to see the team developing their own tools. I've seen that in marketing teams as well I've worked on. It's like if something doesn't exist, I'll go make it myself. Because you can't take it to a whole nother level or do something innovative necessarily with existing tools. We've got some work here from Benjamin. Now there were two ones you sent. You sent me a 4K and a 4K better. Do you want me to play 4K better?
It's just like how do we stream now? Is it 4K? If it's 4K, then
I'll just play the 4K one. All right, here's the higher quality one. All right, Benjamin Abyssal
video.
Generative music.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna crank the volume on this.
Yeah. That's the composition of Benjamin. But Vince, with his technical abilities, really helped. And you can see like a diagram on the right, which represent the structure of the song that is like semi-generative. So if I can explain this without talking too much so we can hear the music, is that the music is split in like, I don't know, dozens of layers. You have the bass. It's not just one sound that plays. It's not one stereo file. It's like lots of layers. For example, there's the bass layer, there's percussions, there's like harmonics, there's pads, there's like rhythmic synths, and all of these layers have variations. If you take the percussions, for example, you can play a rhythm on a tempo, right? But you could have different interpretation of this rhythm. Just like if someone was playing drums, for example, and did another performance that would still work on the song, like any performance, yeah. And so this song starts with the structure, but as it develops, it chooses randomly different variations of each element, so the bass, the drums. And
how does it choose? Help me understand. Does ChatGPT and Midjourney in here making these decisions, or how is it choosing the? I understand that you guys are helping feed the different elements of the song in, but where is there some other party choosing, or some tool choosing the composition and the order of and the way the elements are composed?
So if we say we play the intro, right? This is the intro segment. We want percussions. We have different percussions for this moment. And we give, this is our middleware Wise, by the way. We don't use Unreal for implementing sounds. We just give different variations of drums, and we tell Wise, just pick one. Sometimes what we do is we tell Wise, play this or maybe not. We can just tweak all of these parameters. Yeah.
Interesting.
So this is the very, very simplified version. But if you see the diagram on the right, you can see these purple squares.
Yes.
So in each purple square is like a moment in the music, like the intro, the chorus, the verse, right? This is that. And for each purple square, it will choose randomly a variation of this chorus.
And is that what the white squares are there? So off of each purple, we have a branching 4 choices, 2 choices, 3 choices, etc. I see.
And we can say like let's say like the first purple square is the chorus. When we decide to play the chorus, we have 4 different choruses. and we can say this first right square is the one that we want to play the most. Like we want to have more chances to play this one because it's the best, or for any reason, basically. But then there's also 3 other choices, and the whole point is, because this is an overworld music, right? This is exploration. We want the music to be ambient, and for this region, this is Abyssal Basin, by the way. We decided to try to have a constant music, but we cannot compose something that is 1 hour long. So we just have different stems, different variations, and as the music plays, it will never be the same, basically.
Wow, that's
it's never
amazing.
Boring.
So it's the randomness and the options, if you will, that you put into the music composition. You're always going to have a slightly different music composition every time you're exploring Abyssal Basin.
Exactly. It's never going to be the same.
Wow, that's wild. That's so cool. Audience is going crazy for it. They're saying X-Files vibes. I hear ya. Also, Mandalorian whoop whoop. Look, I felt that as well. All right, we've got some environment system audio here that we want to show the audience.
That's a big part. I think we can put it full screen.
I'll crank it up.
This is some tool that Ilya developed.
Ilya, okay.
Yeah, this is our sound tech art. Because we had to find a clever way to play sounds in the overworld, and that's a feature. Like when you open Unreal, you make a new project, it doesn't exist, you have to create it from scratch. So he coded it from scratch. So if I can,
he coded this tool that we're seeing right now, this sort of grid or whatever on the screen here. How do you want to help everyone understand what it's doing?
Okay. So you can see the little white spheres.
Yes.
Right? These are like sounds that play randomly within the world. It's like invisible sounds, if I can say. But we had to develop a tool in Unreal so it knows the environment. For example, if you stay in a narrow tunnel and you have walls next to you, right? You don't want like a creator sounds to pop on the far left, because it would be disturbing, right? So these sounds will spawn knowing the environment, and we can choose for them to spawn on the surface or in the air. Like if it's creatures, it will be in the air. If it's rock tumbling or sand falling, it will be on the walls. You can see like these spheres are on the walls, right? These are sand falls, maybe. And like the blue spheres that we can see next to the acid pool it's like static emitters. It is a sound for acid pool, right? But they will stay within an area. You can see it tries to follow me.
Right.
And this is the sound of the acid pool. Like we started by hand placing emitters a little bit everywhere, so you can have sound of acid. But Ilya developed this tool, so we just have one sound that follows you. It's just way more efficient, and
it's so interesting. And it's interesting you mentioned not playing sounds in, let's say, a location in your headphones or your setup that would maybe spook someone or be alarming, like suddenly on the left side out of nowhere for no reason. So you got to keep it in sort of a the sounds need to be coming from where you'd intuitively expect them to come from.
Can we maybe just
here's another environment system. Is this the same system or a different system or just another example?
It's just to show this red sphere that is basically kind of the same thing as the blue one. It's just that it's a sound for larger areas. You can hear now, you can see sounds of croaking, like sounds of creature. It is this red sphere, this sound, that is the sound of the whole area. It's just a bigger area. We will create soundscapes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just kind of entranced by what I'm hearing. There's so much complexity and so much going on visually. You know, it's rare in a video game that the audio matches the complexity of the visuals. And you feel, it feels almost overwhelming to be standing next to this pool with everything that's happening in terms of the audio. It makes everything feel more immediate and even more dangerous.
Yeah, it is dangerous. You die. If you enter the acid pool, you die. So the sound of the acid pool, everything is not completely final though. Like the levels, we still have a lot of work to do. But yeah, like we create an ambience that is not located anywhere for each part of Crimson Waste. If we take Crimson Waste, so there's a continuous sound around the obelisk, but there's a continuous sound when you enter Magnopass. So this is Magnopass. You can see this red sphere. As you get closer to it, you will start to hear the sound of this specific place. When you enter it, then you're inside. So it plays full stereo.
Very cool.
And that's how we do stuff. Maybe we can we go to the last one and just listen to stuff. We can see like.
Are you talking about the System 1, the previous video?
Yeah.
All right, let's play it and just crank it. I'm gonna crank it all the way up. I've been taking the volume down.
At the white spheres and listen to the creatures, the rocks, the sandfalls. This big beast is the white sphere. Sandfall.
Holy moly.
Birds.
Yep.
These are Thibaut sounds, by the way.
It just feels so alive because of how dynamic this system is making it. This isn't just like turning on some generic ass spatial audio tool or something. This feels, it hits different because of I don't know, I guess how intuitive the sound is. It feels like a real jungle or wild environment would feel, with sounds sort of randomly coming from different places, but places that you'd intuitively expect. It's strange to have those two things, the two concepts come together.
Yeah, ideally we want it to sound like weird, like Aaron would be crazy at me if I say animals, you know, they're creatures, they're different. It's not like the common birds or anything. But yeah, like we felt the need to develop something like that, to have sounds that pops randomly, especially creatures and stuff like that, because so far there's not so many stuff to do, like in the overworld. Like there will be fight mechanics and stuff like this, but that's for later. The first version of the overworld would be just exploring, and just we wanted the overworld to feel like if it's a museum, you're in a museum, you know. You just stand and you just look at things, and everything is just looking amazing, sounding great,
breathtaking.
Nice. That's
not to take Keanu Reeves' phrase for describing Cyberpunk 2077, but breathtaking is a good word to describe it. That's so cool. Let's show off what Sarah put together with a teleport jump preview. And let me turn this music down. All of the movement sounds are so wild, and they need to be so damn good because you're going to hear them over and over again. So let's go ahead and check this out.
This is very short.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a teleport jump preview.
Yeah, so I just wanted to include some of Sarah's voices. I think the story is nice too, because at some point I really wanted to have high quality voices. And previously I used to work on smaller video games, and I mean, in the past I had worked in smaller mobile games, and I had a workflow for finding voice actors, and I used to go to Fiverr, which is, you can find very cheap stuff. Some stuff are high quality, some stuff are more expensive, but overall, like if you aim at really high quality voices, you would prefer to avoid. And I was looking at like temp voices, so I had my workflow on Fiverr. I contacted a few voice artists, like the good ones, the most expensive, and I just saw Sarah, which was the cheapest of the cheapest voice actress. I think she would be like $10 or $5 for a gig, like extremely cheap. But her demo was pretty cool, and she also mentioned that she was a dancer, but she was moving from this to become a voice actress, and she ended up being the best voice actress. And I think that's really cool. So we don't have so much to show about the voices, because it's a process. It's something that will come a little bit later. We want to have a lot of dialogues between the ranger and Mozart when you explore overworld, but it requires a lot of technical tools. We will have to develop a lot of technical tools, because there's no game design to trigger the dialogues. So when do you want to have dialogues? And we will need a system that manages the amount of dialogues. Basically, like you don't want to have voices every time. You don't want to have voices every time you do something. If you jump, if you start to harvest, so that's not there yet, but I just wanted to share a little bit of Sarah's work.
That's great. And I kind of teased a moment ago, I thought we were about to go into, and I was mistaken, some ranger movement sounds. I was mistaken there. That was actually these that I'm going to bring up here. We've got the ranger bounce jump. Here, let's pull this up for everybody. And this is Thibaut working on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to crank it.
Absolute madness. So he shows that when you quickly jump, it's all dynamic.
I mean, it sounds so insane. The I can't even impersonate it. It's nuts.
Thibaut is completely next level. Thibaut and Vin.
That's what happens when you hire a dubstep guy. Things get crazy.
So Thibaut is not a dubstep guy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's confusing, because there's a lot of people, right? But yeah, I started alone 2 years ago, Illuvium, and then the crew got bigger, and then me alone wasn't enough to cover all of the sounds. Yeah, I couldn't do everything myself, so I had to look for other people. And yeah, Thibaut came at this moment, and I already knew his work, but when I knew he was keen to join the team, I was so excited, because he's a big name in the industry. And Illuvium also is a project. It's a dream project for us, because it combines sci-fi. It has this, so gravity boots, jetpack, that's a good example. It has also all of this magic aspect, which is, fantasy. But for us sound designer, we also, like, the biggest challenge would be creator voices. So it has everything. And Thibaut had developed one of the best sound library when it comes to sci-fi. And a few months before, like I joined Illuvium, he just shared like an amazing creator library. We're gonna hear some of his work for creators. It's just insane.
Okay, before we get to that, let's cover some of Joe's work.
Yeah.
We've got Penguin Stage 2.
This is madness.
I'm gonna crank it so everybody can hear the detail on this.
Yeah, let's go, let's go.
I mean, I feel like he's punching me through like another dimension.
This is all handmade.
Jeez, so good.
Like, yeah, Joe will do all of these crazy chains of effects, and he'll end up having his own sounds. You know, he doesn't cheat. He doesn't take sound from other sound libraries or stuff. He just crafts everything himself. That's very rare, you know.
That's really cool. And we've got some more just handcrafted. I mean, it sounds incredible. You shared a couple bonus leaks with me from Joe, so let's cut to those. Monkey Rogue Stage 3 Alpha ability.
Yeah.
Let me crank that. Listen full volume. If you guys are not listening with headphones, you're missing out on all the good stuff. Oh, so good. And then here's the Mammoth Stage 3 attack sequence. Listen to this. What? What is this, man? It's so wild.
The visuals are awesome too. There's this breaking glass sound because it's when there's a critical hit. We just took this idea from Apex and all of these first-person shooters. There's this glass break. You know, when Illuvials attacks, they can do normal hits or they can do a crit. So when they do crits, we play these glass sounds, and these are full of critical hits. Yeah.
Ah, so cool. It feels so satisfying. The clink that occurs with the critical hit is fantastic. Such good work. Now we've got something that you put together here. An Axo S1 Idol. I think people have heard this through our... Here, I'll just crank it up. Everybody listen and we can talk about it.
So goes again and again.
We put this in the Atlas Illuvial preview video of these sounds, and the sound is so compelling that it just feels like Atlas is right in front of you. And my kids are head over heels over Atlas. Any content they see with Atlas, they freak out. And hearing these sounds, they thought it was weird at first, and then cute. And
someone is commenting like Grant. And I wanted to show this one because, so this is my voice. I use my voice for this.
Okay.
When when I joined the project, like very early on, like Axolotl was already there. It's one of I think it's the first character ever designed in Illuvium. Grant came to me and he said like, yeah, you can use these sounds, you know. And he just did the sounds himself, you know. He just created. I had to redo them because I used super precise microphones and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But he gave me the impulse, you know, and I think that's just really cool to have an art director that has so much interest in sound and that just pulls out voices himself, which is, if you remind, like voices are the most difficult thing to do. And this one is just for Grant.
That's awesome. Basically. Yeah, he did some of those weird sounds for us during
some showcase. Yeah.
I mean, it's strange to watch people do it on camera or whatever. In the final product, it looks great. But he was not shameful about it at all. Like, he loves that creative process. That is really cool. Here's some more work from Thibaut. This is a Thibaut Stage 1 NFT sounds, I believe. So let's go ahead and let me crank it so everybody can hear. I never thought I would hear a fiery yawn, but somehow we did it. We did it, guys. So cool.
Yeah. Here you can hear how believable it is, right? I don't know how he did that. I don't know the exact sources he used, but it just feels so believable and also very pleasing to hear, and also like. It doesn't sound like anything, right? It sounds like a puppy, but it sounds very organic. It's not a toy at all. And I also wanted to tell that Thibaut and Vince did top-notch creator library. And I think our voice design are like really, really, really high quality compared to other things in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I think we hit something like very high. Yeah,
a high level of quality. That's why people will gravitate towards the project, though. That's great. And here's a Poodlemoth S2 idol. I think folks have heard this before, but we're gonna play it one more time because it's so good. I think we haven't leaked this one before. I think we have leaked this one before.
Yeah, I think so.
Just like the visuals, the audio just always goes to this unexpected place.
That is just amazing. Like, sounds a little bit like ghosty, eerie. I think it just really fits the character.
It does. And we have got Poodlemoth Stage 3 Idol. This is a version 2. Yeah, it's strange. It's almost like a bug, almost a cicada type of sound. And then there's like almost like a ghosty banshee type of sound behind that. It's really interesting.
It's an insect. So there's definitely like insect sources, but not only, you can feel like some bass. Like, this is a Stage 3. It's big, so it has some weight.
It has some growl to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone is asking, Vince has a Dota. Oh, sorry. You'd like to address a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, Nico, how long does it take for the sound team to make a new Illuvial sound effect suite from start to finish? I think it depends how crazy we go with it. Like, if we want to create everything from scratch, could take, for one stage, I would say it could take up to 2 weeks. If we just reuse stuff that we have, it could go quite fast, maybe 3-4 days, something like this. Really depends.
Great question. And while we're on Q&A, I'm going to see if I can find the other one I wanted to pull up for you. But the gist of the question was, what is different? Here it is, from Fight for ETH. What is different, if anything, about working on Illuvium versus, some other company or some other project? What would you say is that one key thing that is the most different about this versus other things?
I'm not sure, but maybe...
You don't have to have an answer.
Maybe having someone like Aaron directing he doesn't direct everything, but having someone like Aaron driving everything. I think he's the one who is driving everything. really, really, really cool because he he's a amazing game designer, but he's also like an incredible manager, and he's nice, he's fair, he's friendly, and I think that's it's having him as a leader. I'm not sure if you can find people like this if you can find people like this often, basically. Yeah,
that's cool.
That would be the main stuff. Then different, because we are all online. That would be a big difference. But here again, Aaron is here to set up systems, so everyone feels good. You always end up feeling a little bit lonely, compared to, if you have to work on site, stuff like this. Like he's chill, everyone can work when they want. You don't have to be there at 8, finish at 5. I think that's the combination of the two that makes it very unique, and all the hype and the energy that it created. I think Aaron is not only Aaron, like, Grant is so passionate. Also, he also brings so much, but it's this combination of being online, having Aaron, Grant, that pushes people to really go next level. And there's this there's a strange feeling in this company. I think like everyone is really pushing themselves by themselves. They're not forced at all. And that would be the answer.
We're not forced at all.
No.
They're not making us do this right now. It's not awkward. Now that was a great answer. So basically, in a nutshell, you're saying the leadership, obviously being in a fully remote environment is one thing, but the leadership is the big difference maker here. I would agree with that. That makes sense. Okay, great. Thank you for that answer to that question. We have even more leaks to show everyone. Headphones on, everybody. Here comes even more. And now I think we're down to, here we are, Vince's Dodo S1 signature. This is a preview version. Oh God, this wasn't freaky. Let me crank it up. Let's do it again. Here we go. That Dodo. And then just a little spot of humor at the end with the peck. I love it.
Yeah.
God, how can you not fall in love with these characters? Or at least you can't forget them after you see just the visuals and the personality and the audio bringing it to life. It's absolutely incredible. And Vince also has this bonding preview as well.
The magic sounds I was talking about. I think he's the sound designer that has the most knowledge about this style.
The sort of ethereal magic pads. Yeah, League of Legends is definitely a great inspiration for that.
Yeah.
Almost every sound in League of Legends is magical.
Yeah, they're the best company for sound at the moment, in my opinion. It's just, it feels so right. And
yeah. Amazing. He's also created some Terror Bird S2 Omega. I think we've seen these on a previous episode. I want to crank this up. Everybody listen to this sound. You've never heard anything like these Terror Bird sounds.
Yeah.
That is a mean-ass stage 3 bird there, Amigo. I think I'm gonna turn it down. We can't listen to that over and over again. That strikes terror in the hearts of children. I will not be showing my kids that character.
That's a stage 3. Like it has to be scary. Like
definitely.
But once again, like it sounds like a bird, but which bird? You cannot say. There's so much processing behind. sounds unique. Yeah,
it does. That was all of the audio leaks that you shared with me for this episode. Nico, this was great. Full-blown hour of getting behind the scenes and better understanding sound. So what are some of the things that we can expect from, this will be my final question for you. What are the things you're working on right now that get us to the finish line for us to be able to do that open beta launch for Zero, Overworld, and Arena, and we finally push all of this out? What are those things to get us across the finish line on your plate from a sound perspective? Everybody wants to know when. Well, here's some insights on what is involved with sound to deliver on when.
Sorry, when? What is that?
People say, what is when? You've never heard when? I'm saying it weird. When? W-E-N.
Okay.
I'm saying it weird. When. But
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, what is it? What is it that pushes us past the finish line to, on the sound side of things, to be able to launch?
So we want to go as high quality as we can, but it takes time. But that's cool because, as I explained before, we have the right number of people, the right people. So we will do it. My way of doing things is not rush anything. So we might ship some, let's say, for example, the regions. Crimson Waste is close to be completed fully. But for Abyssal Basin, for example, we decided just to step back, take time to create our own sounds. So just record more ourselves, take time to process. So we have our own sounds, like everything you heard on Crimson Waste, these crazy bird sounds that you cannot see, that just brings Overworld more to life. We are doing the same, but way more advanced for Abyssal Basin. So you stay in Abyssal Basin, you will hear just crazy creatures in the distance. But we just take the time to create these sounds and polish them and make sure they are made from scratch. So that will that should come soon. Yeah, and that's the next goals. I think it's Overworld. Like Arena is pretty much done. We still have a few tweaks to do on how to play sounds correctly. That's a big topic. We didn't talk much about Arena because now, like, the team is focusing, like, the focus is more on Overworld in a general sense. But yeah, we still continue to develop Arena. And one thing that we do, for example, is there are so many sounds happening in the auto battle, because you can have up to 8 combat units on your side against 8, so it's a total of 16. If you play teamfight tactics, sounds become super messy. If you like at some stage of the game, you play so much combat units that it's just messy, and it's just like a mashup of fight sounds,
it's
hit
so
sounds.
combative, it's so cacophonous.
Yeah. So we started developing a system. So we try to allocate each sound an importance. For example, the basic attack of a stage 1 would be less important than a stage 3 critical, for example. But the stage 1 Omega would still be as important as a stage 3 hit. So we just define like a hierarchy of importance of sounds. And when it gets too messy, we just remove sounds. We just remove them. And
I like that idea. Nice, clean audio, so that so the gamer can focus on what's truly important.
That's one one benefit, but the other benefit is if we have less sounds playing, if in any case, like your eyes will be caught, sorry, by the most important. If there's a huge stage 3 during doing like crazy movements, your eyes would be instantaneously focusing at it. So then we can just remove the small ones, and that allows us basically to have less busyness, and we can just put the fight sounds and bring them up. If we wouldn't develop a system like this, we would just keep the sounds low because otherwise it's too much. So there's a lot of work, and this is tricky, but we already have a good pass. And stuff like this, it's more like polishing at this stage, but in terms of design, creating sounds, it's the regions we need to. We haven't initiated Shard Bluff, Taiga Boreal. We have just initiated 4 regions out of 8, and it will be a lot of work. Yeah.
Nico, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And everybody out there who's watching, one more time, it is criminal if this man does not get over 300 followers on Twitter. Seriously, criminal. Nico Sonic Shifts, go follow him on Twitter, and that'll help give him motivation to maybe talk a little bit more about sound on Twitter and give you guys even more insights. If you enjoy,
I'm not very active on Twitter, to be honest. That's why.
But you will be as soon as you become a Twitter celebrity, obviously.
Okay.
He's like, okay, maybe. I don't know. Twitter sucks. Thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it. And thank you for taking the time to
My pleasure.
Put together all of these leaks for all of us to enjoy. Really appreciate you, man.
Cool. Thanks, Andrew, and talk to you next time.
That sounds great. I'm going to boot you out, and we're going to say goodbye, everybody. But you all get to listen to the sweet, sweet sounds of Illuvium Work in Progress soundtrack as we end the episode. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. And it really means a lot to us that you can appreciate the development process that we're all kind of going through together here through Illuvium Showcase. We cover a lot of the visuals, the animations, and what have you, because Grant's kind of the co-host of the show with me. And it really is heartening to me, and I'm sure to Nico as well, to see the love for the audio, the music, and the sound side of things that are bringing the Illuvium universe to life. We'll see you in the next episode of Illuvium Showcase next week with Infinity Leaks. Adios, everyone. Thank you.